Brothers, sisters, and those of you in between, join me in the ritual of sleep. Lay down, close your eyes, space your hands shoulder length apart. Take a deep breath and hold it. Now let it out ever so slowly. I want you to imagine yourself on a beach at night, but not just any ordinary beach. A beach whose sand is made from black, granular, volcanic charcoal. The entire beach is an obsidian black. The water is a liquid black. And the sky is the only place with a bit of hue beyond that of black. A purple that is a gradient into a dark blue hue. The sun has gone down, or was there ever a sun to begin with? You begin to stroll down the beach, contemplating thoughts of nihilistic values of human life. Why do we exist? Is there a reason to existing? Is there an existence beyond this one that we see now? Is all I perceive the same as everyone else perceives? If not, how differently do they perceive life? These are the questions that run through your mind as you take a lonely walk down the beach in utter isolation. The isolation of this moment is extremely powerful, and you feel it in every fiber of your body. Why are you so alone here? Is there other life in this dream world that you exist in currently? Is there a way to wake from this life that you're in? Is there a third life beyond the dream life and the waking life that is more isolated or more populated than the one you are in now? Where does this dream world end and the waking world begin? Is there a medium in between? Are you in that medium now? Take another deep breath. Hold it and let it out slowly. I want you to imagine the shape of a triangle. The triangle is upside down. The pinnacle of the triangle faces the ground. The flat foundation faces the roof. Within this triangle is the shape of Apis, the Egyptian bull god. Its bull face has horns that extend to the ends of the top of the triangle turned upside down. Its snout, bull nose, extends to the pinnacle zenith of the triangle facing down. Its eyes, although far apart, hover somewhere in between the middle of the triangle, lit red. The triangle's outlines are a laser white on a black, liquid black background, hovering in the sky, a static image. Now flickering to life the bull begins to breathe heavily. In and out. In and out. The triangle now takes on a pyramid shape and the bull's head becomes a 3D form, as though printed on a 3D printer. The head grows to the size of a medium-sized house, and then slowly lowers itself into the sand of the beach, like a rocket descending on its boosters. Its descent is slow, gradual, and small puffs of dust rise up as it touches down. The shape then begins to reform from the face of a bull into that of a perfect black cube. It melts, it bends, it contorts, and becomes smooth. A perfect 3D shape of a cube. Then, a small doorway opens up at ground level for you to enter the cube. Walking forward, you come to the entrance, the threshold of the cube. It too is matte plastic in texture, without gloss or shine. To the touch, it feels like any rubber or plastic made material. Looking beyond the threshold of the newly formed door in the cube, you see that the only lighting is neon white and in bars of light that seem to be installed in the hallway entrance of the foyer area connected to the doorway entrance of this black cube shape. You take another deep breath. In. Hold it. Now slowly release. You enter the cube. Walking down the foyer/hallway entrance of the doorway, matte black plastic with neon white lights lining the walls, it becomes almost dizzying when you see how far the hallway extends. Most definitely, the shape and size of the room within the cube is far beyond the shape and the size of the outer parts of the cube. The dimensions inside do not fit the dimensions outside. Here, dimensions have no meaning. The cube's hallway extends into one great circular room. This circular room spans upwards into a dome shape. Circles are a symbol of chaos, for they have no perfect corners and no 90-degree or 45-degree angles. As you peer up into the dome ceiling of this circular-shaped room, you realize it is the texture of movie screen. A projector can be seen in the middle of the room in a small white-lit dot, projecting images up onto the ceiling and dome-shaped roof of this circular room. Suddenly, a large stream of images begin to be shown across this projection screen and dome-shaped movie theater roof. You peer upwards, staring into the imagery. It is one of violence, of heartbreak, wailing humans, car crashes, wars, devastation, hunger, starving children, crying women, dead men in the middle of wars long fought for eternity, decapitation, dismemberment, guts spilling from stomachs with heads unseen, blanked out black-barred-eyed faces, their teeth knocked out by hammers smashing into their face, blood oozing from wounds, maggots infesting the dead, rats slowly withering and rotting, sped up motion rot of a fox in the middle of a grass field, flies buzzing about, a golden orange sun. Take in another deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. The screen image is getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it is the pinpoint of the head of a dot on a needle. You can no longer see these images flashing before your eyes, but the revulsion can still be felt in the pit of your stomach. What did you just bear witness to? Chaos. The circle is chaos. You have peered into the soul of chaos, into the heart and the essence of chaos. The images you saw were the ones only man can handle. There are things far more catastrophic than these that would be very difficult for the human mind to muster. What you have seen is merely a taste, a mere bit of sampling on the palate of the inhumane. A second doorway opens up. This one is arch-shaped, rectangular as a normal doorway would be, with a half circle at the top, making for an arching hallway as opposing to the rectangular doorway-shaped hallway you entered the circular room from. You decide to continue on into this room. Here the walls are plastic and black once again, but instead of white neon lights lighting the hallway, red ones light this. Their light is not steady. It is slow and pulsating, growing to total darkness, then back to the brightest reds you've ever seen, then back to nothingness, then back to a dull red, then back to an almost eye-piercing red light. At the same time, a humming begins. A humming that seems to ascend in tone. Slowly it ascends again, and again, and again. This ascending humming follows you as you walk down the hallway. Ahead, you see the arched hallway opening up into a square room. As you continue down, you eventually enter the threshold of this square-shaped room. It appears to be a hollowed-out cube shape in the middle of the solid black cube you are already in. Could you see this from inside and outside, you would see that it perfectly fit the shape and dimension of the black cube you entered. 3 of the 4 walls of this hollow cube shape are movie theater screens. Unseen projection is made upon the screens on these movie theater walls. Screen number 1 is the one right in front of you. Number 2 is on your right, and number 3 is on your left. On screen number 1, an old man, most likely in his 60s or 70s, wears a suit and stands at a long wood table. He appears to be screaming something that appears to be orders to other men in suits. These men in suits can be seen on both screen 2 and 3, your right and your left. It is almost as if you are in the middle of the wood table projected at the front of the man on screen 1, watching the people sitting opposing on each side. You wonder what commands he is giving, and why the other men at the table are merely copies of the main man shouting right now. This is confusing. Finally, you begin to hear a slow murmur of words spouting from the man's mouth. They consist of order, tradition, culture, tribalism. What do these words mean to you? You think about them while taking a deep breath in, hold it, and out slowly. By the time you finish your exhale, the screens have slowly faded to black, and a new hallway has opened in the black cube, triangular in shape. This triangular hallway is lit not with red or white neon lights, but those that are blue, a dark blue, almost black light. You begin to walk down the hallway. You find the pinnacle of the hallway, and the point at the top of this triangular shape is just tall enough to fit your head and shoulders. You are able to walk easily without grazing your head upon the roof of this hallway, but it is just tall enough that you are not able to move to the left or right or veer from your path while you walk down this hallway. You continue walking down the hallway until you see it finally enter an arrow-shaped room. If you were able to look above this hallway in the room connected to the end of it, you would see an arrow shape. This arrow shape is pointing into the direction both the triangle and the hallway and the full arrow shape wish you to follow. You enter this room and stand in the middle of the triangular shaped room.
There is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now.
There is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now, there is no heaven, there is no God, there is only hell. Hell is now.
In this triangular room, on the two diagonally shaped walls that meet at a point in the middle, In this triangular room, in this triangular room, in this triangular room, on the two diagonally shaped walls that meet at a point in the middle, are two LCD screens playing the images that you saw in the square room and the circular room. Those of the man in the suit standing at the table barking orders, and those of the visceral images you saw in the circular room of people, animals, and beings being torn apart in things such as war and murder. Finally, a third LCD screen lowers from the ceiling. This overlays both sets of images, and you watch as they combine into one hybrid image. In this hybrid image, you watch as the man at the front of the table in the suit has his head ripped apart, torn asunder, his eyes plucked from his head, and his skull, very graphically, torn in half. Nothing but a body in a suit stands there missing its head. And then, two mechanical arms lower from the ceiling and begin to rebuild the head of the man who had his entire face ripped apart. They build an orb of flesh and place bone chips as teeth in the middle, forming what seems to be a sort of makeshift mouth. That mouth at first starts out mumbling, as though it is unsure how to use the new muscles, mouth, and extremities it has been added to its face. The things it begins to say are a combination of both anarchy and order, tradition and chaos. It tells you there must be a balance between the two. That balance must happen by combining both violence and patience, relaxation and hypervigilance, a calm mind with erratic thoughts. This is the way of the triangle. And I ask that now you close your eyes. Close them a second time. Close them a third time. Close your third eye. Close your second eye. Close your mind's eye. And enter the world of everything that is dreams. In these dreams, I want you to imagine your worst fear, as well as your most beautiful fantasy. I want you to imagine the most pure beauty you have ever seen, combined with the most grotesque. I want you to imagine beauty queens with open sores, animals with heads chopped off, brand new, cooing babies, missing all appendages, tanks rolling over young mothers carrying carriages, and a desert of blood and lava. A tortured man in the belly of a beast that is like a dragon. A dragon that curls and eats its own tail. A tail that is connected to the spine of a bone that has prickly spikes pointing from its tips. Each of those spines, each of those spikes, each of those pricks are triangular in shape. The dragon that is a circle and eats its own tail will eventually consume itself. those living in a boxed world will run out of room. But those of us living in the triangle see 3 different directions, pointing 3 different ways in which to expand our life. I want you to travel down each one of these 3 paths within this dream. The first path, a bending forest way, into a night forest filled with the many sounds of nocturnal animals. As you walk down this nocturnal path full of night animals, making their different cries of darkness, eerie night sounds, I want you to imagine that all you can see is the eyes of these animals floating in the pitch black that is the night of the forest. If there is a moon, it is covered by the leaves and foliage of this forest. If there are stars, they are blocked out by the canopy of the trees. This is a pitch black forest. You only know that it is a forest because of the crunching of branches, dirt, leaves, the movement of animals, the rushes of small wind blowing through the trees, the rustling of all the sticks and leaves flowing through the air and the ground. You are the only human in this forest. You are the only sentient life. You are the only one questioning your existence as you walk through this unknown path. As you get to the end of the forest, you realize you are now on the edge of a cliff. This cliff is the second pathway on the 3 pathways of the triangle. I want you to know that you need to step off this cliff in order to follow the second pathway. This is your first test of bravery and whether or not you will follow the way of the triangle. You decide to make that plummet. Extending your arms out in a T shape, you dive down head first. Legs flip over head, flip over shoulders. Head flips back over stomach and torso. You are spiraling out of control as you fall from the cliff. You expect to meet the ground quickly, but are answered only by a black void. You continue to follow a path down the void. It seems to have no end. The wind rushing up from the void starts out as a nice, warm gust of air, but slowly degrades into a calm coolness, and then a frosty Arctic breath blown from Father Winter himself. Icy in nature, you can almost feel your limbs freezing. You can feel it hard to move your own face, fingers, toes, now arms and legs. You are becoming colder by the second. Looking at your arms and your legs, you see them become white with frost. You feel your own face unable to be moved. Whatever frightened expression you had as you dove off the cliff is permanently frozen upon your face. And at the end of the fall, you see the ground finally rushing up, and it is nothing but a bright orange pulsating pool. You hit it and feel your entire being melt. You have dissipated into the pool of lava. Who you are now extends into a liquid form. What bones made your body are nothing but dust. You have no internal organs, no brain matter, no muscle. You are nothing. You have become nothing. You have become. No visual representation remains of you. You are a series of experiences and thoughts, floating in a vast void of nothing. You may have had a purpose in life, but you have no purpose here in the void. The lava around you now freezes from the cold that was your body and becomes a large chunk of solid black rock. Whatever parts of you still existed are frozen in that black rock. You yourself are nothing. You exist outside of this black block. Slowly, a bright purple beam descends from what seems to be a sky area. You only know this by observing it third person. You watch as it breaks the center of the black cube rock. It explodes. It becomes fragments. It shatters into segments, and those segments become dust. That dust becomes nothing. And now you see only black. Now, you do not know even if what you are seeing is black, or if you are seeing nothing at all. Do you even have the ability to see anymore, being nothing? Truly you question this. Truly you wonder if any sort of existence of you remains. If you yourself can contemplate your current situation, does that mean you are existing? If you are able to think and contemplate, do you exist? If you are able to listen, do you exist? If you are able to hear sound, does that mean you exist? If so, then while you have these things in your life, you exist. Slowly, the particles of dust combine to form segments of bone. Those segments of bone slowly weld back together into fully formed bones. Those bones slowly connect via sinew. Those sinews slowly connect to muscle. That muscle slowly wraps around the bone. The muscle slowly gains flesh, growing upon it like a mold in a sped-up film. That skin grows around the muscle and forms appendages. Those appendages eventually connect to a torso. That torso and appendages eventually connect to a head.
That head, torso, and appendages eventually form you in whatever new existence you wish to be formed in. This is the third path of the triangle. You have been remade, born anew, created again via the threefold path of the triangle. You are welcome, although there is not any reason to thank the triangle. The triangle does not need your thanks. The triangle exists merely to serve. That is the purpose of the sacred cult of the triangle, to serve you, the follower. Here you will find yourself reborn through our teachings. You will find your body made anew. You will find your mind made anew. You will find every ounce of your existence down to the granular piece of dust, made new, reborn through the way of the triangle. If you truly seek to understand what it is to be who we are, then you will listen closely to the ways of the triangle. The triangle does not care if you follow. It is apathetic to your needs. It is indifferent to all you feel you deserve. It merely exists to show you how you also exist. If you have questions, they will be answered in time by the triangle. If you have problems, they will be solved by following the triangle. If you have sadness, it will be cured by the triangle. All your troubles in life will become nothing. Because in the world, the realm, the existence, the dimension, the universe of the triangle, these things simply do not exist. They will not be erased. They will not be taken from you. You will not forget them. They will still be part of you. But they cannot exist in the realm of the triangle. If you feel you are ready to follow the triangle's path, I ask that you join me in my teaching and study of the sacred cult of the triangle. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best sleep of your life. The triangle. If you feel you are ready to follow the triangle's path, I ask that you join me in my teaching and study of the sacred cult of the triangle. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best sleep of your life.